Tuned for the Medical Marijuana Radio Show, brought to you by the American Medical Marijuana Professionals on Gratiot and Roseville. For certifications, call 1-877-RX-42099. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. Hey, Steve Greene here to tell you about my good friends over at the Hydro Hut Garden Supply Store in Inkster. Why am I so excited about Hydro Hut? The $200 Mad Light deal. That's right. $200 gets you a 1,000-watt high-pressure sodium bulb, an E-wing reflector, and a digital ballast. That's right, a digital one. Call them today at 313-228-5544. It's Hydro Hut. It's 20% off on your first purchase, but you got to mention the Medical Marijuana Radio Show to get it. Check them out at hydrohutonline.com. That's Hydro Hut at hydrohutonline.com.
Many communities, including Royal Oak and Detroit, are passing K2 ordinances to protect kids until the state can pass its own K2 regulations. Michael Rosenfield spent the day in Lansing, where there could be a vote in the full House by the end of the week.
Lawmakers in Lansing today dealing with the high-profile issue of synthetic marijuana, typically known under the brand names K2 and Spice, or even called bath salts.
I've got two kids, and the word on the street in the high school is this is okay because it's legal, because I can buy it at a store.
There are 4 bills aiming to ban the sale of synthetic marijuana at Michigan retailers like gas stations, where it's easy to buy the legal substance. Manufacturers keep changing the ingredients every time one of them is deemed illegal.
So it seems to me that we've been playing this cat and mouse game for quite some time, and I certainly hope that this piece of legislation has some sort of effect on the problem.
State Representative Lisa Brown of West Bloomfield added an amendment to one of the bills today, making it a felony and not just a misdemeanor to sell synthetic marijuana.
It's going to send a very strong message to someone who wants to sell these very dangerous substances. We're not kidding around. We're serious.
The amendment passed, and so did 2 of the bills voted on today at this House Judiciary Committee meeting. Several communities have been coming up with local ways to fight K2 and Spice, and a statewide ban would result in a uniform law and make it easier to crack down on new products as quickly as 2 weeks once new items with new names and different ingredients hit the stores.
Essentially, you have chemists, drug lords, whatever you want to call them, taking these products and just manipulating them in a very minor way, but then removing them from the list of banned substances.
All 4 bills dealing with this issue are expected to pass through both the House and Senate by next week and would go into effect around July 1st. At the Capitol in Lansing, Michael Rosenfield, 7 Action News.
What is K2? What is Spice?
K2 is like an incense people smoke. I guess it's starting to really affect people. Call it synthetic pot.
What is K2? What is Spice?
An incense that's not meant to be smoked at all. It's for people that are pretty much on probation. If weed was legalized, we would not have this problem.
What is K2? What is Spice?
I think K2 is disgusting. It is something that people smoke when they can't smoke weed, but it's not weed, and it's so bad for you. It can kill you. Makes you go crazy if you smoke it for too long.
What is K2? What is Spice?
It's a generic trail mix of different chemicals, pretty much, that the sellers put inside. They don't tell you what's in it. It's like JWH and CB, stuff like that.
Would you call it synthetic pot?
I think more than anything, it's like meth. It's comparable. I had a seizure off of it, actually. I went to the hospital, yeah.
So you did try it?
I did, yes.
Have you tried pot?
Yes.
Okay, and so, given the choice between the two, which would be your preference?
Oh, pot, all the way. There's no risk of death.
No health risks at all.
Countdown to launch. It's the Medical Marijuana
Launch commit.
Radio Show.
Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Power clear.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show is a production of the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855-MMM Radio. Keep it legal. Keep it legal. Keep it legal. Keep it legal. Hey. You tuned in to that medical marijuana show. 855-MMRS radio.
Denise isn't here, but we got Rick in the studio. Ryan's here. We are live once again in Detroit.
Okay, Steve is the host with the co-host Denise. Starting at noon Saturdays every week. Yes, we keeping you legal. Legislators and lawyers, doctors and the growers. The show is for the people. Michigan medical marijuana, no hassle. We talk about anything, any issue we can handle. Call us up and let us know what is on your mind. And make sure when you do it legal every time. Hey. You tune in to that medical marijuana show. 855-MMRS radio. Keep it legal. Keep it legal.
So it's hot, it's sticky. Well, if it's not now, it's going to be pretty soon. In Detroit, welcome to another medical marijuana radio show for a baking June 16th, in fact, Saturday. Steve Greene here, Rick Thompson, and Ryan, our intern in the studio. Denise is on assignment in the mountains of Kentucky, I think, right now. Riding through. I'm sorry, Rick?
On assignment, nice way to put it.
She's riding through the mountains. She said there's some thunderstorms. We'll see Denise maybe next week. Also, on this show, did you hear the open?
That's just great. And the guy called K2 and Spice, he called it bath salts. That's wrong.
Sometimes people see the bill that they were covering. I saw Mike Rosenfield down there that day because I was down there the same day that he was, reporting on this. And it's easy sometimes, if you're not familiar with a subject, deeply familiar with it, to lump stuff together. Sure. And so it was an honest mistake. But I really wish when the media looks at these issues, because they're really affecting the community in a very negative way, many of these things.
Yeah, they are.
And so I think it's really apropos to be absolutely clear about what these things are and what these things are not, and to talk about the truths of the matter rather than to perpetuate myths. And sometimes, it's easy. Well, I heard, where'd you hear that at? That this K2 stuff is called bath salts. Well, I heard it on Channel 7. Well, no, you're a news organization. Please tell us the news,
Doctors should do no harm, and reporters should not tell lies. Right?
Well, it's,
it's just sloppy reporting is all.
Well, honestly, it was, but aside from that, I love Channel 7. I think they do a bang-up job. They are award-winning. Those guys, I watch them all the time. I love Channel 7. But I noticed that they were reporting, and some other, Channel 7's not the only one guilty of this. It's in the popular media, popular culture, talking about K2 and Spice as some kind of synthetic marijuana, and it's absolutely not true. It's factually incorrect.
Well, it's just a convenient way for them to describe how it's used and to make an equation with something that's already present in people's mind, but really inaccurate. I love the quote that you got, Steve, from the one gentleman that said it was really more like meth. Because he had a seizure on it. That's horrible. Well,
and these were this was that particular group of people that's also follows that Channel 7 piece on the intro of the show today. And I'll play it again for you if you missed it. That group of young people were incredibly educated. Mm-hmm. It was the adults that I found that A, didn't want to talk on mic, and then B, when they did talk to me off mic, didn't know their A's from a hole in the ground.
Well, and that just goes to underscore what I've been saying all along, is that adults have access to medical marijuana, they have access to alcohol, they have access to other things. K2 is accessible to children and to our youth because it's unregulated. That's why it's so popular amongst them, and that's why we have to do something about that.
I could not believe that there were adults in this environment,
Still haven't heard about it.
That are just clueless as to what is, because I asked the adults the same question, what is K2, what is Spice? And their answer 4 out of 5 times was, I don't know. And then I pointed to the sign. I was standing in front of a smoke shop that had one of those signs from the sheriff's department and the local community that says, we do not sell K2, Spice, or any other synthetic designer drugs at this store location. And then I pointed to that sign, and she read the sign, and then she looked back at me, and she says, I still don't know what it is.
I believe it. And unfortunately, the detachment of the common man, they're unfamiliar with what's going on in their own environment, whether the environment is killing them, whether the K2 is killing their kids. Oftentimes, blissful ignorance is how those in power perpetuate their status.
So I got a little story about the whole Channel 7 thing. I'll talk about that sometime during the show here. I'm not sure exactly where, but we'll squeeze that in somewhere, the rest of the Channel 7 detail.
We'll squeeze it.
In any event, the big thing that we've been promoting and working on in the background while we're working on all this political stuff, because there is a lull in the political landscape. This is the season where the House and the Senate take a summer break. They've wrapped up their legislation. And did you notice you can't say vagina on the House floor anymore?
That's a huge thing. We talked about this on the other radio program, the Planet Green Trees broadcast the other day. It's just atrocious.
I mean,
Not the vagina.
Well, you got to be on mic, Brian. You're a radio guy. How can you talk and expect anybody to hear you without being on?
I just wanted to make sure we weren't talking about the vagina.
Did they teach you about microphones in the Specs Howard School?
I saw one, I think. One of the classes, we had one in there.
Did you have to draw one?
We painted. That was during the painting special.
Good Lord. So, I'm sorry. I was just going to...
If the microphones looked like one, it would be easier to remember what they're called.
He's always in the background trying to say something, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're a Specs guy. Why do I got to teach you? You got to talk.
We're down a mic today.
Speak loudly in the background.
Yeah, really loudly.
Look at me, over here.
Yeah, pick me.
So go ahead. Back to what we were talking about.
You know, the things that we've been working on while this lull in the landscape's going on, it's kind of hard to talk to legislators when they're not in session. They don't answer their phones. You got to leave a message. There's a disconnect.
Unless you can catch a coffee hour at somebody's got. But oftentimes during the summertime, they don't do very many.
Well, no, they do stuff, but it's their schedule. You don't know where it's at. You know, a lot of these. You know, for Rick Jones, for example, I invited Rick Jones to be on the show today, and you know, they've got all kinds of. Every weekend is booked 4 weeks out. Earliest I could talk to Senator Jones is going to be end of July. So we're hoping to get Rep. Irwin, who also is kind of tied up this weekend, and Senator Jones on at the same time towards the end of July. You know, after our trip to Cedar Point, which brings me to my next thing.
Dun, 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 dun.
So we're trying to give away tickets to Cedar Point. Trying because I just don't believe that, you know, we can do it.
Giving them away.
We're giving the tickets away. It's really easy to do if you want to get involved right now. Jump online if you're if you got a smartphone or if you're near your computer at home. Jump online, go to radioweedshow.com and log in. When you log in, because you got to log in with something, Facebook, Google, you got to log in now. But it's a click-through. You don't have to fill out a bunch of stuff. You got to pick something and click through. And then once you're in there, it'll prompt you if you haven't got your phone number in there to enter your phone number if you want to be called to play the contest. So I've got the list of people who've entered their phone numbers.
Yay!
And the grand total is
300.
5. We got 5. Well, that doesn't include you and me, all the people who are ineligible.
Some of us. I was hoping my phone was going to ring during the contest.
So we got 5 people right now. So what I'm trying to tell you is there's a good chance we'll call you if you want to register because I'm going to keep. I've got 3 questions from the show from last week. And in case we can't get through one question, we can't get anybody to answer that one. I want to give away tickets to Cedar Point. Mm-hmm. We're going on July 14th. We're going to do a live broadcast from our regular show from in front of the Mantis there, right? It's the first roller coaster on the left as you enter the park. And we'd like to bring you with us. If you don't win tickets, you can purchase them also on the front page at radioweedshow.com. We've got discounted prices. Normally it's $51 a head if you just buy them right there at the gate.
Ouch.
We got them $16 off. It's the lowest price. You can't get this through any other organization or travel agency.
That's a 32% discount there, Steve. 32% discount.
$35 is all it'll cost you.
Oh, my God.
So if you want to do that. So go ahead and register at radioweedshow.com to play the contest right now. I'm telling you, we're going to try and give away as many tickets as I can. In absence of that, I also want to talk to Adam from Hydro Hut.
Yay.
See if we can get him on the phone in a little bit. I expect we'll hear from Jamie Lowell. Denise is in the mountains. We won't hear from Denise. More coming up on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Please stick with us.
Got something to say?
Call now toll free. 855-MMM Radio. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
If you or someone you know received a traffic ticket, has been charged with a misdemeanor, drinking and driving, criminal offense, or has had their driver's license taken away, they need an attorney. They need attorney Glenn McCandless. He's helped hundreds of people solve their legal problems over the past 16 years.
My law firm is dedicated to providing quality legal services at affordable rates.
Call us at 586-755-2900. Again, that's 586-755-2900. Call now.
The Committee for a Safer Michigan is collecting signatures to put repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults on the November ballot, and we need your help. Outlawing marijuana has not reduced its availability, made society safe, nor reduced access for minors. Marijuana prohibition has wasted limited tax dollars, put otherwise law-abiding citizens in handcuffs, eroded the public's relationship with law enforcement, and denied relief to seriously ill, injured, and dying citizens that were supposed to be protected by the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. The Committee for a Safer Michigan is working to legalize marijuana for adults, and we need your help to put it on the ballot. Go to repealtoday.org to find out more about this historic effort. That's repealtoday.org to learn more, or call 269-548-8422 to end prohibition and sign the petition. Ending marijuana prohibition will reduce access by minors, allow law enforcement to focus on violent crime, reduce gang activity and organized crime, and create jobs by allowing a new Michigan hemp industry. Paid for with regulated funds by the Committee for a Safer Michigan, 2930 East Jefferson Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, 48207. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Hey, baby, won't you look my way? I can be your...
So the thing we're talking about right now is this business with the K2 and the spice and stuff. For those of you that are just joining us tonight, I've checked online. It looks like our audio online's not working right now. I hope it's just the computer that we monitor with in the other room, but I have a feeling there's some other issue with connectivity with that crazy iPhone.
I'm doing the Japanese fake talking for our video.
I think we're all doing the fake talking. Don't do that, Rick, because if I try and line up the audio later, you're going to be screwing with me. I'll have to download the audio from the podcast that 1310 puts up, and I'll be like, no, this can't be where it's at because Rick's mouth's moving and there's no, he's not. Oh man, Rick's just screwing with me. So.
No, but the reason the K2 and the spice is a valid topic for a medical marijuana radio show is because of the negativity that we're experiencing here for marijuana it being associated falsely
look,
with
I don't
that.
have any problem with that. Look, marijuana's got a bad name already by itself. It doesn't need any more smarmying up.
I do not need K2 being associated with us.
But here's the thing. I mean, did you see that the post inside of Safer Mich that was made by, who is it, this Marijuana Policy Project?
Dan Riffle.
Yeah, Dan Riffle. Did you see the comment he made about the K2 spice thing in the Safer Mich?
No, not really.
I've got to look it up and talk. Maybe we'll look it up a little bit later and talk about it because I agree with him. I've been saying the same thing that this is an opportunity for us to explain to people, number one, why they're being harmed by the K2 and the spice in the first place, and it all draws back to marijuana prohibition. Mm-hmm. And this horrible stance the federal government has taken on even guys that are trying to run research in legitimate ways through legitimate channels. They've absolutely denied these researchers, federal government, well, they're not government researchers, these are actually pharmaceutical researchers, the ability to do any kind of testing on this plant because it's Schedule 1. So they won't give them a license to grow it, any kind of sanctioned ability to do this without being called a criminal themselves.
Right.
And so what they did was they synthesized that's what the federal government, after a great number of years of basically begging them, can you reconsider, please? We're a pharmaceutical company. We're just trying to. And
no, you may not.
Yeah, they keep referring them back to the grow facility in Montgomery, in Alabama, the research facility there. And they're the only legitimate place that the license they're not going to issue anymore. Stop asking us. So they kept appealing, and their eventual point was, look, if you've got a good point, you want to do this research, you're a legitimate person. If you want to do your testing on THC, you need to synthesize it. You're not going to be able to just grow it and test it off the plant. You're going to have to make it in the laboratory. And that's how you're going to get around us and our prohibition about growing, because we're just absolutely not going to let you do it. So they did. And the pharmaceutical companies paid for this research because, mind you, this is expensive stuff. Synthesizing chemicals in a laboratory is not an easy process.
But it's worth it for THC.
Well, if you're going to do this testing.
Yes.
And so what I'm saying is that you and I couldn't have funded this. And we wouldn't have been able to do this. And we wouldn't have found somebody willing to do this at no cost, pro bono, so to speak. These guys did, and they did their research, and they were done with it. And somewhere, somebody found, in the business community, found a great go-around. Since they synthesized this set of molecules, the set of THC molecules, different forms of it, in fact, we'll go ahead and spray that on some incense and market it to kids like they do pot. And so that's why it's easy for the news organizations to call this synthetic marijuana, but it's not the truth. If you look at it chemically, it's if you now analyze it chemically, it's not the same at all.
No,
It doesn't even look like it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it under a microscope, or if you even examine the substance itself, it resembles it in no way whatsoever.
Correct.
So that was the argument that I made to the people at Channel 7, because they insist on calling this synthetic marijuana. And when I called up the news desk down there, they told me that, look, the authority we're using for this is the DEA. And he looked at he Googled it right there. And he's like, the DEA says that, if I Google the words K2 and spice, that this is synthetic THC. And I said, that's correct. That's factual information. I said, but if you're connecting the dots, you can't skip them. And then I used the analogy. I said, look, if you've got somebody out there that's taking marshmallow fluff and packaging and selling it to look like and appeal to people who like ice cream, to say that it's artificial ice cream is not factually correct. It's still marshmallow fluff. Just because they're purchasing it that way doesn't, that's part of the argument. And then the thing about just because THC is in marijuana doesn't mean that therefore it is marijuana. THC is not marijuana. THC is just one of hundreds of chemical substances.
A single chemical in the entire bouquet of this beautiful substance.
When you say bouquet, how about cornucopia? There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. 368, I believe.
All the entourage chemicals, all the terpenes, the flavonoids.
Oh, there's CBDs and CBNs, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. I could go on forever.
Which is why Marinol and Sativex are not considered marijuana. They're considered synthetic THC. They're considered synthetic substances, but you're not replacing the entire experience.
In any event, the argument still stands, and the people at the news desk there, when I called Channel 7 to say, please stop calling it this. And you go, what are you afraid of? We're giving marijuana a bad name? And I said, why you got to be sarcastic with me? My intention is sincere. I'm trying to say that you're glamorizing this to kids who already understand that pot in their own minds is benign. It is harmless. They either know it by their own experience or they know it by watching others. It's inherent knowledge amongst kids. Mm-hmm. If you ask kids if pot is dangerous, you'll not find one, not a nay, not a one, to say that it's dangerous. They know better. So if you start calling the stuff that is dangerous fake marijuana, aren't you glamorizing that to kids who want to use marijuana but don't have access to it?
Sure.
I think that's exactly what you're doing.
You're also minimizing the risks with it because they've experienced marijuana. They know that it's not going to give them the spasms that gentleman reported. That's not going to give them the dangerous side effects that K2 really does. So by calling it synthetic marijuana, you make our children more vulnerable to its dangers, not less.
And that's the entire point that I was trying to make. Yeah. And they just wanted to argue, oh, you're just nitpicking. And I'm clearly not. If you're going to report the news, you've got to report the facts. And the facts are, it doesn't matter that you've only got a few minutes to contain them for the purposes of your programming. If you can't tell that story in a way that is accurate, in a way that is truthful, in a way that's not misleading, don't tell it.
Yeah.
I mean, please.
Our community's seen more than its fair share of incorrect manipulations by the media community.
Again,
we don't need it again.
Again, I just want to underscore, I'm not beating up XYZ. I'm not beating up Channel 7.
No.
I love those
Everybody
people.
does. Everybody
those guys
does
are
it.
good. They're award winning. These guys are stellar in this community. But I'm just saying, if what I believe is some of the best of news reporting on television can make this mistake, there are others who are doing the same thing, and you only perpetuate it when, hey, I got it from the news.
Well, actually, at the cover of the Macomb Daily, it was pointed out by Christiane Offerman to me the other day that it had synthetic cannabinoids were banned in Macomb County. Now, that's probably a more accurate statement to make than synthetic marijuana. When you're referring to a cannabinoid,
let's just call it what it is. They're synthetic designer drugs. They're made in a laboratory like meth, and they're dangerous and harmful to everyone who would consider their use.
And you should possibly consider that by banning K2 and those similar substances, you also may be banning Marinol and Sativex in your community as well because of the analytes.
I wouldn't want to mire this question up with such a...
Oh, don't mire the question up. No.
I just don't think it's, that's likely number one. I'm just trying to stick to that focus. The point is, this stuff is harmful. Let's call it what it is. Let's be accurate in how we depict these things. Because if you're not, you're just going to cause other problems further down the line. And you're just they're already confused. Why confuse them more?
Well, by passing a law that bans all synthetic cannabinoids in an entire county, then you've accidentally done something beyond what your intention was, which is sloppy legislation.
I'm less concerned about these people in the local communities doing this now. They're doing it as a knee-jerk reaction because they see this as a danger that needs stopping, and it's going to take the state too long. That's why these guys are doing
Snyder's
this.
got the bill on his desk right now, so it'll be law in just a moment.
Has it gone through the Senate? Did the Senate pass this?
Yep.
So it's ready to be signed then.
Yep. I believe that Michigan will have banned K2 Spice by the end of this next broadcast, or by the time we have our next broadcast.
Oh, so it's because the legislative session ended Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, they sent it to him before they went. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to look at it right now.
So this is news to me. I didn't catch that. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. So for the benefit of those who didn't hear it, I'm just going to go ahead and play it once again. This is the piece where I was talking to some people in front of a smoke shop that had the sign, we don't sell synthetic drugs or K2 or spice.
What is K2? What is spice? K2 is like an incense people smoke. I guess it's starting to really affect people. Call it a synthetic pack. What is K2? What is spice?
An incense that's not meant to be smoked at all. It's for people that are pretty much on probation. If weed was legalized, we would not have this problem.
What is K2? What is spice?
I think K2 is disgusting. It is something that people smoke when they can't smoke weed, but it's not weed, and it's so bad for you. It can kill you. Makes you go crazy if you smoke it for too long.
What is K2? What is spice?
It's a generic trail mix of different chemicals, pretty much, that the sellers put inside. They don't tell you what's in it. It's like JWH and CB, stuff like that.
See, he's smart.
Would you call it synthetic pot?
I think more than anything, it's like meth. It's comparable.
They giggled. The girls
giggled.
giggled.
Actually, I went to the hospital. Yeah.
So you did try it?
I did. Yes.
Have you tried pot?
Yes.
Okay, and so, given the choice between the two, which would be your preference?
Oh, pot all the way.
So
There's no risk of death.
No health risks at all.
You see, and the parents are still like the older people, the people who would be in the parent group age for that group of kids that I was talking to right there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how old these kids were. They were definitely going to the smoke shop, so they had to be over 18.
Voting age.
Those kids were incredibly smart. I told them to their face. I did not expect them to answer those questions in the way they did. I expected them to all say that this is fake weed. Mm-hmm. But they know better.
Smart.
They know better, and they know that this is harmful, and they've actually tried it and decided that they should stay away from it.
Yep. And by the way, the legislature did send that bill to Snyder's desk on the 13th of this month.
He was too busy looking at the bridge.
Well, they got to probably. Well, they've got they sent a whole bunch of different things for him to sign. So I'm sure he'll sign a ton of these things, and it will probably just get pushed aside and not made a big deal about. But it really should be.
I think Snyder's still looking at the bridge. I think he's just staring at the place where the bridge is going to be.
I really want another one of those.
He's going to stand there and look at this expanse that we're going to.
Let's get the Canadians to pay for it. Yeah.
We call it the Snyder Bridge. Bridge Snyder.
Ouch.
Could hear them on the morning news talking about traffic.
The Snyders backed up this morning.
Well, we hear the Snyders backed up.
That's not what we want.
That is not an image I needed. So, the interesting other thing, as we're pondering the K2 spice thing, that was a separate bill that you're talking about, Senate Bill 1082. That's the one that's now going to become law. And almost the entire contents of 1082 were on the front end of 3680. What is it? It's not 5580, but the other one. What's
4834?
48. No. The other
5681.
5681, the dispensary bill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll make some of those things null and void.
Kind of obsolete.
It says here in the article that the law will take effect July 1st, so right away.
Are we missing? Did we end up with people on the phone? We got some. Look, Jamie Lowell's on the phone.
Hey, J-Lo.
Look, I was just Jamie. Sorry about that. Can you bring Jamie up? Sorry, we had some other stuff pulled up on the screen there we didn't see on the phone.
Well, no problem. I was listening to the show. Great show.
Well, thanks. Welcome to the program. You wanted to call and comment about the K2 spice issue?
Well, last week, and thanks for continuing to take my calls here. Last week, I did make the comment that I believe that we have seen conclusively what people really feel about K2 versus real marijuana by the response of the citizens in the community and the organizations and law enforcement to places that sell spice versus medical marijuana dispensaries that have popped up all over the state at given times, no matter how high their standards were, they never got that type of reaction from
and
people
never
in the
will.
community.
Right. That just means that the community recognizes what's dangerous to them, and they react immediately when they find it. Well, marijuana's been in their community for years and years and decades, and there's been no outcry like this. So
well, children
they know
don't
it's
show up
bad.
in the hospital. They don't end up
Exactly.
catatonic in a snowbank. They don't end up non-responsive.
Eating people's faces.
Yeah, there's no.
Well, the eating people's faces thing was a bath salts thing. That was not.
And thinking about the isolated components of cannabis and, turning them into synthetics or just isolating, because actually Sativex is real extraction
Correct.
from cannabis, a CBD and THC 1-to-1 ratio, but it doesn't have the other stuff. And
right.
This is not pharmaceutical stuff. This is a herbal remedy, and the plant and all its components work synergistically to create the effect. And perhaps a discussion at some point on the show, just as a suggestion, could be about the Wayne State study that is taking place right now, a medical efficacy study for cannabis, perceived effects of different strains and how they work with various conditions. And there's some results are coming back now, and the testing does include looking at the flavonoids and the terpenes. And so over the course of time and the more testing and the more data points, and so far the data points have been supplied by Third Coast, MedJoint, and Michigan State Transfer mainly, but this is going to be growing, and they're going to have a lot more data to be worked with over time. They can start looking at what limonene does and what camphor may do and alpha-pinene and these things and help to get a bigger vision of this, but also to help prove how this is an herbal remedy and doesn't really need to be equated or looked at and put through the same process as these pharmaceuticals.
What computer program do I need to buy to get a vocabulary like yours, Jamie?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was being a smartass. I said, what computer program do I need to buy to get a vocabulary like yours? Good Lord. You know some big words is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I should have taken consideration your audience. And
wait, whoa.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious to you, sir.
That was not called for. That was a low blow.
I got a big word or two for you.
Well, you got porn stash there. You can.
Porn stash.
Dr. Porn stash. I'm staring into the microphone, into the camera.
Oh, good Lord.
Dirty Sanchez.
Oh, no, come on.
So you're getting personal now.
The mustache. Come on. So now what I wanted to mention was to you, Jamie. Are you interested in coming to Cedar Point with us?
I may be. I do have to check my schedule. I'm on a new summer schedule with Third Coast. I have an obligation to be there certain times. But if it's outside of that, I believe it's mid-July, July 14th.
It's July 14th is a Saturday. I mean, we're doing our show that day.
Today, but yeah, the answer is yes. If I can, I definitely will, and I'll also try to bring others along and get the word out.
Yeah, we'd like to have a
great time. We need a break. We need just to hang out, have some fun, regroup, shake off a little stress, and then come back at it.
Heck yeah. I mean, to be fun to just have like the entire roller coaster, just a crowd from Michigan.
I mean, when you're sitting next to a guy and you're both hurling after getting off a big roller coaster, that just equalizes everything, you know? That's a unity experience.
Nothing more brotherly.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
The lady with the movement in the back's not going to be happy about the hurling.
Woo! Her movement was multicolored to begin with.
And let's support Ohio a little bit, too. They're around the corner from joining us and recognizing.
Right.
Well, you know, the people in Ohio they've got their sleeves rolled up already. They're already just rubbing their hands together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, they've got a decriminalization measure that's been in place for several years. Plus, they have other things cooking in the books. They don't have a similar ballot initiative program like we have here, so it has to be initiated through the legislature. And they have some very favorable people down there. So Ohio is just a really cool state. I used to live in Ohio. I cannot wait until they become a medical marijuana state.
Well, they'll be adjacent to us. We don't have any other adjacent states except for Canada, and we got to build a bridge to get there.
We're on our own. We're isolated. We're tough Midwesterners.
Maybe we can start. Maybe we can do some international trade with Canada with hemp. You know, maybe we could sell Canada some hemp, and we could buy some hemp. We'll have some manufacturing places and some. Because, you got to have textile companies making stuff into blue jeans and things.
Just love to have the opportunity for this particular state to be the leader nationally in embracing hemp technology and hemp resources. We have so many brownfields that could be converted. We have so many different areas in the state that are fallow fields. Actually, at the NAACP meeting that I went to this last week, Issues and Allies, with a lot of the people from the Repeal Today movement, they mentioned that the United States Department of Agriculture, for the first time in 30 years, is actually doing soil samples in the city of Detroit. They're doing it in zillions of locations around the city to determine what is what. And that'll help us with that whole concept of being able to convert some of those brown fields into those hemp fields like we talked about.
Jamie, thanks for joining us on the show. We're running to break. Hello? Oh, there he goes. He's gone. So, in any event, we're going to play the contest coming back. If you're registered, get ready. We'll call you next.
More of your calls next. You gotta bend over or no? Yeah, you gotta. Okay. Steve and Rick will be right back after this. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville.
If you or someone you know received a traffic ticket, has been charged with a misdemeanor, drinking and driving, criminal offense, or has had their driver's license taken away, they need an attorney. They need attorney Glenn McCandless. He's helped hundreds of people solve their legal problems over the past 16 years.
My law firm is dedicated to providing quality legal services at affordable rates.
Call us at 586-755-2900. Again, that's 586-755-2900. Call now.
The sun goes down, the stars come out, and all that counts is here and now. My universe will never be the same. I'm glad you came.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show comes your way every Saturday from noon until 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you listening outside the time zone, we're available on iHeartRadio and on RadioWeedShow.com. You can join us here every week. So the Cedar Point thing coming up next, the contest. We're calling the people who registered now. If you didn't register, you can still register now and still might get called before the program's out because we'll play a segment of the contest now. If we can give away the prize, we'll do it. If not, then after the next break, we'll play the contest again. So we got a few people we're calling up, see if we can't get them online to play. In the meanwhile, I got to get the glasses out because if I don't get the glasses out, I can't play the theme to the news. So we have the news theme. Where is that? Do we take the news theme? Oh, there it is. So we get Ryan with the Medical Marijuana Radio News. Ryan.
All right. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel said Friday that he would back a proposal that would decriminalize possessing small amounts of marijuana. He is the latest U.S. political figure to support diminished penalties for drug use. In New York, Governor Andrew M. Cuomo announced this month that he will push a new marijuana policy in the Empire State, reducing public possession of small amounts of marijuana, decriminalizing them to a misdemeanor violation with a $100 fine. This latest Time magazine issue has the top 10 reasons why marijuana policy should be revisited. I'm going to just cover a couple of them. Americans increasingly favor legalization of pot. Supporting marijuana reform is no longer political suicide. Teens are more likely to smoke pot than cigarettes. Marijuana doesn't increase risk of lung cancer, mental illness, or death. And medical marijuana dispensaries aren't linked to crime.
Now, what's that list? What's that come from?
This is from the latest Time magazine. It's the top 10 reasons why we should relook at marijuana policy.
Letterman didn't do this? Are you sure?
No, this isn't Letterman. We got our own list here.
Didn't do a top 10 pot list.
And we're just going to skip to 10, and law enforcement is overburdened. So, it's time to revisit, and it looks like some people are willing to make those moves. I think that's a big move for Rahm.
This be the number one reason. So is that what we got? Is that the end of the news?
We're good to go.
So did you ever do the practicing of the news? You ever sit in, whoa. Who's got that? Is that you're a little too close to the mic. There you go. You're a radio guy. You see what Rick's got? You see what I got? They're isolated headphones, Ryan.
I left mine here 2 weeks ago, and now they're
right.
gone.
What's
No, these are the stations. We don't want.
They're isolated headphones, though, Ryan.
Well, I didn't put
They
them
don't
on.
squeal when you.
I was worried about returning
Gotta
their.
teach the specs guys. Gotta retrain them. It's. Come on.
Come on.
Look, you can't find good help these days. I'm just kidding, Ryan.
Cheap white labor.
Cheap white labor. Well, I can tell you, Ryan works for less than peanuts. That's what you get interns for. But you know, in a better way, yeah. Hopefully, we'll brush you up on the news. Well, what we'll do is we'll sit down and we'll go over the tape and we'll make you better. That's what program directors do.
That's what they used to do.
That's well, they you know.
Cultivate talent. That's what they're known for.
Casting calls. Wasn't it casting calls? I thought that's what
the couch
show producers casting couches, right?
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. Well, not with you and Ryan, actually.
No. Good Lord. We've driven the show directly into the toilet. So here we go with Richard Clements. Got to get right off the news. Right off the news. Richard Clement is one of the people that registered to play the contest. Richard, I didn't know that you registered to play the contest. Richard's responsible directly for putting together the Recall Bill Schuette campaign. Aren't you, Richard? Hello? Are you there, Richard?
Free the Richard.
Free the Richard. For those of you who don't know, because that's an inside joke, it's Richard's always talking. Anytime you give Richard a microphone, it's free the weed indeed, free the weed. There we go. Okay, now he's on hold. Here we go. Richard, are you there? Oh, he's gone.
Apparently, I insulted him. No, Richard's a great guy. He'll call back, I'm sure.
You know what happened is he might be on the cell phone, or we might have caught Richard at a time where he's like, you know. Hey, I didn't know you were going to call me. Are you stoned, Richard? What's going on? You knew we were going to call you. That's what you put your phone number in there for. Richard's busy freeing the weed.
We all like free stuff, and free tickets to Cedar Point is a great reason to call in.
Well, we have 5 of the people. I think this must be Richard back. You don't have to type him in again if it's Richard. We just take it as Richard.
Richard, hey, how you doing?
There he is.
Yeah.
So free the weed, Richard. Free the weed indeed.
Free the weed for the jobs we need for our nation to succeed. Yes, indeed. How you doing?
He's like our own Nipsey Russell. I love it.
Yeah, you know, I'm out here at the Juneteenth Festival here in Lansing, Michigan. It's celebrating emancipation when the slaves were told that they were free from the war and everything, and they're having a celebration out here in the park, and I'm gathering signatures to try to get our issue on the ballot, you know.
Right.
Especially in Lansing, Michigan, you know, we got to grow at MSU.
Where did you say you were at, Richard? I missed that.
Huh?
Where did you say you were at in Lansing?
I'm at St. Joe Park in Lansing, Michigan.
And you're collecting signatures for both the Recall Bill Schuette and for the repeal?
No. Repeal today. Just repeal today. We're going to create jobs at Michigan State University.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I'm out here circulating and Matt and all the folks, letting them know, hitting the community, working on MSU grads and everything. You know, a lot of people out here having a good. There's an annual event here, and you know, it's catching on. You know, we're turning some heads, man.
Richard, we're running out of time to play the contest theme. This is we're ready to play the contest. You ready to try and win some Cedar Point tickets?
Oh, let's do it, baby.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask you a question from last week's show. Did you listen to last week's show?
I missed it. I kind of missed it, but go with it.
Okay, so on last week's show, what we did is we had a state rep Colton on, and we asked Rep Colton, you know, how many growers. Actually, we didn't ask Rep. I'll pick my own question.
Hello?
Hang on a second. What we wanted to do was Rep Colton had said an estimate of how many people they said were growers in the state of Michigan. And so you're going to have to take a guess because you said he wasn't on there.
Oh, you said wasn't on there?
Well, you said you weren't listening to the show last weekend.
They said he gave a guesstimate number of how many growers we have in Michigan?
Yes, and so that is correct. So you got 20 seconds to see if you can answer, or maybe think about it good and hard. And you want to because you only get one guess in 20 seconds.
I got to give you a number, right?
Yeah, it's a number. How many? You want to go ahead and try as soon as you can. I guess we don't want you to run out of time.
Okay, we got about 400.
400 growers in Michigan?
Yes.
Oh no, that's not correct. I'm sorry. No, actually, he said, and I guess for the sake of revealing it, because I don't see any of the other people right now, he says no one else is answering their phone. All the other callers aren't answering. So here's what I'll do. Richard, you didn't win tickets this time, but maybe you might have a good chance at a second question. I'm going to open up the calls, the phones here now for people just one more time. Because we weren't taking calls. We only were calling people who had registered online. That's how you're supposed to do this.
Well, yeah, I did catch the show. I remember I had to leave and something happened, but I had to get up.
That's okay. We're going to let you take another swing at the bat after the break, okay? Can we do that with you?
I'll be so clear.
So we're going to open up the phone lines and let other people have a swing at it first, because you already had one swing. So, being that one didn't work out, we'll have another question.
Okay.
So, but we'll go ahead and ask other people the same question. No, we can't ask them that question because that gives them more than 20 seconds to know it. So I'm going to answer the question. It was 75,000 people. We had 75,000 growers he estimated to be in the state of Michigan.
Wow, that's great, man. Great job.
Yeah, that's a little low, though, because that's just the number of caregivers registered. There's tons of patients that grow for themselves that are not registered as caregivers. So,
well, go ahead. They can't keep. Have they ever counted up all the official number of caregivers?
What's that? No, I don't think they were. I don't think they were counting. It's hard to estimate how many official people are growing because some people are just patients growing for themselves, and other people are listed as caregivers. So there will be an awful lot of cobbling together of numbers and doing, carry the 1, subtract 4.
Well, caregivers 5 times 12 is 60. Plus,
I thought 5 times 12 was 420. That's what I'd always get. It always ends up to the same numbers.
Oh, yeah. It's just simple math, baby. Yeah.
Massaging the math is what they call it.
So hang on, Richard. We're going to see if we can't get another person. Hey, stand by. Don't go anywhere. Can you stick with us for a minute? Okay, he's on hold. So we got Rose online, and we're going to see if we can't get Rose. Rose, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Where are you calling from, Rose? Can you tell us what city?
Waterford.
Okay, Rose. Now, do you want to win some Cedar Point tickets, right?
I'm going to try.
Did you?
I listen to the show. It doesn't mean I'm going to know the answer.
That's okay. Well, we're trying. We're going to keep trying. All we can do is keep swinging the bat, right?
Sure, Rose. Keep going.
So I think this is probably an easier question. So I'm just guessing because I would be able to know this one probably before I would know the former one. Rep Colton was a guest on last week's show, and he told us what he does as a profession. Do you remember what Rep Colton said he did as a profession?
I remember listening to him talk. No. Oh, my goodness.
Take a guess. 5 seconds.
What does Rick do as a profession?
Well, no, what did Rep Colton do as a profession? Rep Colton.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. So now now I don't have a third question.
But you can't tell Rose the answer then because we can still use it for someone else.
No, we can't because the question's already got 20 seconds. It's not fair to somebody else.
No, it's not fair. Somebody else might know it.
Yeah, they would know already. You'd have to ask them a different question. That's why I gave the answer to the first question, and that's why I was like, I'll ask my own question because that was a backup question. So no, you didn't. Well, hang on. Maybe we'll give you another swing. Could you hang on a second, Rose? Because I'm gonna let Richard try with
making beds. Yep,
okay, so hang on. We'll go back. We might have to go to break, so don't go anywhere because we got about 7 minutes after the break, which is coming up shortly. So we got to come up with another question, right? Can you remember anything from last week? Because you're going to have to write it down. You can't tell anybody. You can't say it on mic because they'll know. He's not even saying that. He's trying to be quiet.
How many times did Rick make inappropriate jokes last week?
No, well, you can't say it on mic.
That's right.
You're supposed to write, Rick makes inappropriate jokes almost every second of the day.
That's true.
Do you have a pen? You need a pen? Okay, so we're going to start writing. We're going to get some questions together during the break. And we'll see if we can't give away tickets to Richard and or Rose. I'm determined to give away tickets, you guys. If I got to ask you what color was the sky that day, I'm going to give tickets away. So stand by. Don't go away. Giving away tickets to Cedar Point of the Medical Marijuana Radio Show next.
More of your calls next. 818-423-2350. We'll be right back after this on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABISformula.com or call Ray direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients. The Committee for a Safer Michigan is collecting signatures to put repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults on the November ballot, and we need your help. Outlawing marijuana has not reduced its availability, made society safe, nor reduced access for minors. Marijuana prohibition has wasted limited tax dollars, put otherwise law-abiding citizens in handcuffs, eroded the public's relationship with law enforcement, and denied relief to seriously ill, injured, and dying citizens that were supposed to be protected by the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. The Committee for a Safer Michigan is working to legalize marijuana for adults, and we need your help to put it on the ballot. Go to repealtoday.org to find out more about this historic effort. That's repealtoday.org to learn more, or call 269-548-8422 to end prohibition and sign the petition. Ending marijuana prohibition will reduce access by minors, allow law enforcement to focus on violent crime, reduce gang activity and organized crime, and create jobs by allowing a new Michigan hemp industry. Paid for with regulated funds by the Committee for a Safer Michigan, 2930 East Jefferson Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, 48207.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Damn tootin', we're back, and we've got just a few minutes left in the show. We're still trying to give away these tickets to Cedar Point. If you want to get Cedar, if you don't want to play the crazy contest and put up with our shenanigans, there's an easy way. Just go to RadioWeedshow.com and buy them right there. $35 ahead. You'll get your email confirmation from PayPal. What happens is we get down to the park that day. We purchase the group tickets in one unit, and then you'll show us your email confirmation and your ID, and we'll give you your tickets. In the event that you don't catch up with us, if you come to the park later that day, just go to guest relations and show them your ID, show them your receipt, you'll get your tickets. So that's how that works. We got another guy on the phone. Keep writing. You got to write down questions because we need some backup questions, gang. It's a few minutes left in the show. Kenny from Dearborn, welcome to the program. We're playing Toker Trivia today.
Okay.
So, did you listen? Did you have a chance to listen to the show yesterday or last week?
Well, actually, I was out of town, but
you're out of town. Well, we'll see if we can't find a question that might work. I forgot what the question was already. Hang on, wait. Do you remember the question?
I remember the question.
Okay, so I'm going to start the timer, and you can ask the question. Rick, are you ready?
Sure am.
Here we go, Kenny. Got 20 seconds to answer the question from now.
Kenny, last week we had two phone-in guests. One of them, as we talked about already, was Representative Calton. Who was the other phone-in guest last week?
Oh, man. Oh, I don't have a clue on that one.
You can make something up, and it's still a valid guess.
I did know the 75,000. I took a wild guess.
Oh,
that was right, but,
you knew the answer to the 75,000 question?
Well, yeah, in my head, I was thinking, about half of the people on the registry, which is like 150,000, I think. So,
right,
75 sounded good.
That's a good guess. That is a good guess. If I was guessing the jelly bean question, that's what I'd have done.
Yeah, well, now last week I was in Ohio. I couldn't pick up the show, but the first show I've missed in a long time.
Where were you at in Ohio?
Just south of Cleveland.
Okay, yeah, you're just a little outside of 1310's area.
Yeah.
Big broadcast range. We get all the way down south of Toledo.
We get to Sandusky. You can hear us at Cedar Point's parking lot. I know that much. So I'm still swinging it away and trying to give it away tickets.
Can we recycle a question?
No, we can't recycle a question. They know the answer.
What? I bet you they don't.
No, I'm saying they were listening.
No, not these questions. One from a week or two ago.
Oh, from a different time. No, we can't use a question there either. Again, it's already been asked. Why you can't recycle questions? Don't work.
Already on the line. Yep.
So, do you have a question? Can you think of another one, Rick? Because we got to do so. I'm running out of questions here. I need to better come up with better questions. See, usually we only play this contest once, but I just want to give the tickets away.
We're so generous. We just want to give.
Give.
Like
So let me think about so Carlton, and then we had Jamie. Now, what? Maybe we could ask a question about Jamie.
Yeah, where's he employed? Where's Jamie employed?
Oh, look. All right, well, that's an easy enough question. But see, Richard would know that already.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be fair to either Kenny or Rose, because I don't know what they know or don't, but I know that Richard would know the answer to that question, so that wouldn't be fair.
It's like we can't ask Rose any Titanic questions because she'll already know that because she was on the show.
Oh, come on. Yeah. Stretching for comedy this morning. Or this afternoon already.
And when I stretch, it is comedy, yes.
Blue Diamond.
It's Blue Diamond. Come on, guys, stop joking around. We're trying to give away tickets here. We need to serious up for a second. I'm at a loss for questions now. Did Denise say anything that we could ask a question about Denise?
Oh, don't do that. She'll be angry with you.
Where did she go for a week's vacation? Did that come up?
No, that didn't come up. That came up this week.
We have Bill from Madison Heights holding. We need a good question for Bill.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I know. I got a question. I guess it's a fair question, I think. So I'm getting ready to go. So let's go ahead and go to Bill from Madison. Oh, Bill from Madison Heights just dove off the deep end. He just hung up.
Bye, Bill.
It's too bad. So we'll try. We'll go back to. Now we're supposed to go back to Richard. We'll go back to Richard.
Okay.
Richard. So we're going to ask you. We talked about two bills mainly last week. Basically, two bills.
Right.
Do you know what those bill numbers were? I got to start the contest ticker, so here we go. 20 seconds. What were the two bills we talked about last week?
5580 and 5561.
Oh, I want to get judges.
No, it's not the right numbers. It really isn't. Sorry.
Oh, Richard,
we can give it to Rose though right away. We can
she's already got the. It doesn't work. We got to have another question.
Just give her the question.
No, because it's only been 21 seconds.
Oh, that's just no. You got to play by the rules.
Like
Rules.
food on the floor.
No, it's not the 5-second rule.
We're breaking rules of the contest already.
Rules. That's funny. The 5-second rule especially doesn't apply to when you drop the pass. If you drop the pass, you don't want to apply the 5-second rule. Who knows where that's been? So, got to ask another question. I'm just.
Who was supposed to be our guest last week and didn't show up?
There you go, Rose.
Rose. Who was supposed to be our guest last week but did not show up?
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't St.
I think we mentioned this person during the show today.
Yes, we did.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not supposed to give hints. That's not fair.
No, it's not fair. But I still don't know it. So it doesn't matter anyway.
We tried. I'm trying so hard. Because we have such good questions.
Questions, and if they can't answer them,
no, that doesn't work either.
We should electroshock when you get it wrong.
There's got to be a better way. There's got to be something more simple. Let's see. And I actually listened. I actually played last week's show back so I could have questions in my head, and they're just absent. I know.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
Great
so
question.
I've got. Okay, so we'll try your question first. So we're now going to go back to Kenny from Dearborn. Kenny,
in conversations with Rep. Carlton.
Wait a second, playing the wrong thing. Hang on.
You haven't lost yet, Kenny. I haven't even said the question.
Go ahead,
Kenny. In conversation with Rep. Carlton last week,
I'm going to start it over.
He said that there was a particular company that was trying to come into Michigan to push legislation. 5681 was the House bill. What country is that company from?
Oh, let's see. What country? The Netherlands.
No, that's not true.
Good Lord, we're trying so hard.
Yep, it's a company.
Actually, they were from Canada.
Yep, Prairie Systems.
Plant Systems. Okay,
Yep.
okay. So I'm just gonna I'm giving the tickets away. I got 50 seconds left. It's got to happen. Oh, I know the question. What was the question? Was it? I asked. I let you do the question first.
And then he lost
You remember talking about writing things down?
I should have. I've lost the question now. You know what?
Ryan, holder of the pen.
I don't even know how to
give
do
it
this.
to Rose. We love Rose.
Oh, we love Rose, Kenny, and Richard. Oh, I'll tell you what. We'll give you all tickets. I'm giving all three of you guys tickets.
Oh, that's great.
You got a pair of tickets to each one of them. Rose, and so, got to play the winner thing. So hang on, Rose, Kenny, Richard. Thanks for playing with our shenanigans. We intended to give you all tickets the whole time. I'm just kidding. We didn't, but I had to do something. Join us next week on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Show and RadioWeedShow.com are trademarks. Copyright 2011.
The comments, ideas, and opinions expressed in the preceding program are those of the show participants only. Nothing stated in this program reflects the ideas, opinions, or beliefs of this radio station and
This is
Detroit's
Progressive Talk, 1310 WDTW.